Hi, Omega Chaos here, and this is the deck I used for Finnish Nationals 2022. So of course I went to that event, of course despite being from Estonia, but of course Estonia hasn't had a national since 2011. So I tried to go with this deck, but unfortunately I completely failed. I lost pretty much all of the matches I played. And last round I got a bye, an automatic win. So let's talk about some of the matchups. So first round I played against Sports Soul. I lost pretty badly. In the first duel I got Nibiru'd and pretty much lost from there. And other duel my opponent pretty much went off. So the second round was against Tvirion Sky Striker. I think it's probably the going second version. So actually in the first duel I pretty much did the KRISTYA Appaloosa Herald Mirror Lights combo. But unfortunately my opponent had Raigeki plus Video Anchor, and there was my whole board. So my opponent I guess was pretty lucky in that regard. But in the second duel, I pretty much did a very similar combo, but also I had Savage Dragon instead of Mirage Lights. But fortunately, my opponent had 4-man droplets and negated my whole board pretty much, so I couldn't really do much again. But that duel went on for a longer time. And unfortunately, I made a pretty crucial mistake as well in that duel. Then, in the third match, I went up against Eldritch. Unfortunately, it was very hard to play against Skill Drain, so we much lost to that card, both games more or less. Then in the fourth round I played against Adventure Phantomites. That player played pretty slowly, so unfortunately I lost in time. And unfortunately I didn't really have very good hands, and unfortunately got Nibiru'd as well. And then in the last round I actually played, I went up against Harpy Tri Brigade. Unfortunately in the first duel I drew a pretty good hand, but unfortunately my opponent had both Ice Blossom and Infinite Permanent, so I couldn't play for that, unfortunately. Then in the second duel I pretty much won, in fact barely, just because I had KRISTYA on board on its own and my opponent couldn't really get rid of it. And unfortunately in the third turn my opponent went first, and they had Tri-Braid Revolt face down and one of the Tri-Braid Link Freeze. My hand wasn't that great, just had Foolish Boreal and Master Hyperion and something else I think. But unfortunately my opponent also had Ash Blossom and Harpy Fairduster as well. I activated, the opponent used Revolt, obviously, summoned out the Link 4. Obviously I only had Master Hyperion to really deal with that, so I summoned it, but of course my opponent used the Link Freeze effect, and the Link 4 pretty much banished my Master Hyperion. So that was that. Unfortunately very bad result of course, but I still think this deck has potential, so I'm still going to show it, and I'm going to be improving the deck over time. I'm not going to quit the deck, but I'm going to put it aside for a little bit. So let's cover this deck. So first the monsters, of course. I use triple Master Hyperion. Many players of course only play one of this card, but I think this card is actually really good because it's a level 8 monster. So if your Earth gets negated or something, you can still summon this card and then go into level 10 Synchro, the Master Flare Hyperion. It can break boards as well because of its effect, and it's able to use its effect twice if you have Sanctuary in the sky on the field. That's definitely, I think, is really good, but I'm not sure if I might cut it down to 2 or something in the future. Then I use one Majesty Hyperion. I think you only need one because you can easily send it with a Link 2. But of course, you might consider running more of this. Maybe, I'm not sure. Then of course I use triple Teju Mystery Earth. Of course, really important card to search out all of your ancient monsters. But also can search Master Hyperion if you have Sanctuary in the Sky on the field. Then all of the new action cards, a triple, there's some life Neptune, which can revive, it can spell summon an agent from the hand or graveyard. So definitely it's really good to summon out your Venus from the hand most of the time, or even from the graveyard. And also if it's banished, you can search for the Sanctuary in the Sky from the deck. So definitely a very important card for this deck. Then I use one, there's an Entropy Uranus, a pretty good card, a tuner, you can spell one if you have Sanctuary in the Sky on the field. And yeah, pretty decent card for this deck. Then I use one of the other key cards, the Destruction Venus. That's of course to summon out Shine Balls from the Banish Zone or from the graveyard. And also of course you can copy the effect of this card with Master of the Fairy Period most of the time. And then of course one of the key cards in this deck, or pretty much the key card of this deck, is the Ancient of Creation Venus. Of course summon out all of those Shine Balls on the deck or hand if you draw them. So definitely a very important card for this deck. Without this card you're not going to do anything. Then of course those triple mystical Shine Balls you have to run. Well, fortunately they are definitely complete bricks in the hand. Actually in the Sword Soul matchup I drew 2 of these in the last duel, so that was very unfortunate. Then I use one Dark Lord Asmodeus. I think there's a combo in this deck that if you don't get access to the tuner, you can use the Dark Lord combo to get access to this card, and then you're able to do some more stuff. Then of course I use one Archlord KRISTYA, one of the cards you want to bring out in your combo, which of course is locks down special summoning. A really amazing card for sure. Then of course I use triple Herald of Orange Light, really good hand trap in this deck. Of course it can negate monster effects if you discard this card and another fairy. Definitely really good, and also it's a tuner, so if you don't have anything else with your level 8 fairy, you can go into Master Fairy Period. Then of course I also use triple Aspos Venture Spring as another hand trap, pretty good I guess. Pretty important. Then the spells and traps. So I use of course the key spell card of this deck, the Sanctuary in the Sky of course. All of your effects involve using this card, and by having this card on the field you get a lot of extra effects as well. Then I use triple the Sacred Warriors in the Sky, obviously being able to search out anything that any monster that mentions Sanctuary in the Sky in the card text. But of course you can activate Sanctuary in the Sky text from the deck as well, but most of the time you're not going to do that, because most of the time you're going to search Sanctuary with Neptune's effect. You also can life points and can protect your monster from being destroyed by battle as well. Then I use one, the Chorus in the Sky, of course being able to recycle your fairy monster from the graveyard, and also is able to bring back something from the Banish Zone as well if you have Sanctuary in the Sky on the field or in the graveyard. Then one of the more iffy cards in this deck is 2 Valhalla Hall of the Fallen. I think it's pretty good. Being able to summon any fairy from the hand if you control no monsters, it's a continuous spell, so you can play through hand traps with this, stuff like that. You can summon your high level fairies as well. So I think it's pretty good, but I'm not sure if I will keep it in the future. Then of course one Foolish Boreal to send something like Venus to the graveyard to revive with Neptune on Majesty Period if you don't get access to the Link monster. Then one Call by the Grave, of course, to stop any hand traps your opponent might have. Then one Divine Punishment. So if you have Sanctuary in the Sky on the field, you can negate anything pretty much. You can search it out with the Link 3 as well. I think it's pretty good. Then one Fallen Sanctuary, which pretty much counts as another Sanctuary in the Sky on the field. And if you activate it, they either set Sanctuary in the Sky or one spell trap that mentions Sanctuary in the Sky in the card text. So definitely pretty good, and also you can banish a fairy to negate any monster effect on the field. Definitely pretty good, I think. Then the last card in the main deck are of course triple Infinite Impermanence, another hand trap you can use in this deck. That was the main deck. Now let's see the X deck. So of course I use that one, a Master Flare Hyperion. Very potent synchro monster in this deck, which will be able to copy the effects of ancient monsters or anything else that measures Sanctuary in the Sky. So that would be really amazing. It also has a really good disruption effect as well. Then you use one Borrowed Savage Dragon, of course pretty good. In some combos you are able to summon this card. Then one FA Throne Dragster, pretty good I think, but I actually didn't ever summon this card in the tournament. Then you use one the Executive Underworld Pluto, pretty good. It's a synchro tuner, you can summon it with Crystal Hulk Vivax as well. Definitely really good, has really good disruption effect as well if you have Sanctuary in the Sky in the field or graveyard. Then one Cupid Pitch, pretty good. It's a fairy, it's a synchro tuner, pretty good. And also you can search out Neptune with this card as well, funnily enough. Then one Herald of Arclight. It's a fairy type level 4 synchro that has negate, that's an on-field negate. Definitely, I think it's pretty good. Then the only Exist monster I use is number 38 Hope Harbinger and Dragon Tiger Galaxy. It was pretty good, negate spells, stuff like that. Then the Link monsters, Aplusa both the goddess, of course, really good. And also it's a fairy type monster as well. Then one Celestial Night Lord Barshot, very important card for this deck. It's able to search out anything that mentions Sanctuary in the Sky or Sanctuary in the Sky itself. And also, if you have a Sanctuary in the Sky already on the field, you can search out any fairy type monster instead. So you can search out KRISTYA, for example, of course. And also, if any fairy type monster is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can spell summon a fairy type monster. You can banish one fairy and then spell summon any fairy type monster from the hand that has a higher level than the banished monster. That's really amazing to summon, of course, KRISTYA to the field. So definitely a very important card. Then you use Protector of Agents Moon, obviously really good. To send like messages dependent to the graveyard, then you're able to go off from there. And also you can tribute any fairy to destroy a card on the field. So that's definitely really good effect as well. And also, for example, if you have Skill Drain on the field, you can tribute itself to get rid of Skill Drain as well. But unfortunately, I didn't really have a good follow-up after that. Then one Condemned Dark Lord, another Fairy Link 2, and it's very important for the combo if you don't have access to Earth or any other level 2 tuner. Definitely, I think it's pretty good for that. And also can guarantee you that you have a Fairy type monster for your Mirage Lights. And then of course the Herald of Mirage Lights, definitely really good because of course it's a spell trap negate by discarding a fairy type monster, so definitely ensures that your KRISTYA stays on the field if they activate Raigeki or something. And of course that's assuming they don't have anything else like that or Video Anchor or anything like that, which unfortunately happened to me. Then one Crystal Hulk Vivax, of course it's really good because you do have a lot of tuners in this deck. And of course you can summon out your Pluto from the X deck as well with this card. Then there's one Link Spider, because it's very important in your combo, because of course Mystical Shine Ball is a normal monster. And then the last card in next deck is a Super Promotion Target, Starring Venom, Fusion Dragon, because of course Despia is a thing, and many other dark decks. So that was the X deck. And in this case I'm actually going to show you the side deck as well, because obviously it was the side deck for that specific tournament. So you can see what side deck choices I made. So first is one Dino Vestal Branchatops, because of course it's really good. We must against anything going second, so definitely very nice. Then I used two Gadarla, the Mystery Dust Kaiju. It's against many different matchups. It's against the Antignister, because there's really no other way to get rid of that 4,000 or to 6,000 attack unaffected beater. It's against Thunder Reach, because again Kaiju over the Wind Barrier statue. Definitely use this Kaiju for the attribute specifically. And of course it's good against all of those negate boards as well. Definitely all around a really amazing card for sure to use in the side deck. Then I use triple Roland Lockbird in the side deck, because if there are a lot of decks that do a lot of searching, so it's really good to stop them in their tracks pretty much, so definitely really good card. Then of course I use triple super permutation, of course against all of those Despia decks or any other dark attribute decks, so obviously really good card for sure. Then I use 2 Dark Ruler no more, okay, of course against all of those crazy combo decks. Then I use some backdoor removal, so I use 2 Cosmic Cyclone against all of those floodgates like Skill Drain. Then of course Sabri Fairduster, obviously again all of those backgrounds, stuff like that. And then of course 1 Red Reboot, of course really good as well, it's at 1 for a reason. So that's it for my deck list. I'm going to show you the main combo for this deck as well, which I pretty much did quite a lot in the tournament as well, or at least in few duels. So let's show you the main combo of this deck as well. So for this combo you need Age of Mystery Earth, pretty much for sure. Then Neptune or Venus, but Neptune is more searchable than Venus, so Neptune is more likely, but either or is fine. And 2 random cards, so let's say just these hand traps, but it can't be Shine Balls or anything like that to send from the deck. But of course variations are possible, and then you would act accordingly. But this is just a basic combo. So you would start by normal summoning your Age of Mystery Earth, sending out your Venus. It's of course very important, to your hand. Then you will use Neptune's effect by sending this out of the graveyard. +1 Venus. Then you're going to activate Venus, of course. You use it of course 3 times, and of course you will then have 6,500 life points. Of course you have to keep the life points in mind as well. Of course summoning out those 3 Shine Balls. Then what you will do, you will then link someone with the 2 Shine Balls. To link someone into Protective Agent's Moon and activating that effect to send Majesty Hyperion to the graveyard. Then you're probably going to use link someone into link 3 into Leslar Night Lord Barshot. Then you're going to activate, well, not really activate, just summon the Master Hyperion from the graveyard by banishing your Neptune, summoning it to the field. And then using Neptune's effect, because you banished it, you can search that for your Sanctuary in the Sky. Then you're going to Synchro Summon into level 10. It's going to be Master Flare Hyperion, activating the effect and sending Edge of Destruction Venus to the graveyard and copying the effect. Of course, then going to use that copied effect to pay 15 life points to summon all of those Shine Balls back to the field. Then you're going to link someone, and then these go to the bottom of the deck, because there's someone that with the Destruction of Venus effect. And summoning out Condemned Dark Lord. Then you can use Condemned Dark Lord's effect, but obviously you need a Fairy type monster in your hand for your Mirage Lights effect. just for Dark Lord Asmodeus, but right now this card is not really relevant for a combo, it's just a Fairy type monster for Mirage Lights. Then you're going to use Mio's effect again, because of course you can just somehow use it constantly since Shrine Balls are now in the deck. Then you're going to link some with the Shrine Ball in this. So it was just summoned with Venus, so it goes to the graveyard. Summoning out Link Spider. Then you link 4 with the Dark Lord, Link Spider and the Shrine Ball. Of course this Shrine Ball still goes to the bottom of the deck. I'm going for Appaloosa with 24 attack points, so it will have 3 negates. Just say it's 3 negates. So then, it doesn't really matter like the order of things, but she's going to activate Shrine Ball's effect 2 more times right now. Then you're going to activate Sunshine Sky. Then using the Power Shots effect, discarding the random card, of course, and searching out, it's actually in the sky and so it's on the field. Let's search out your Arsenal KRISTYA to the hand. So yeah, very important. And now for the final move, in this case, you're going to link some with the final Shrine Balls. The graveyard, take someone to Herald of Mirage Lights, then activating the partial other effect, banishing the Shrine Ball. It's of course level 2, then you can spell summon your higher level. So now Arsenal KRISTYA to the field. So that's of course really amazing combo for sure. So it's pretty much, you have 3 monster negates with Appaloosa, spell trap negate. If Mirage Light Change, of course you have your Asmodeus in your hand, that's that fairy monster you have to discard. Then Disruption from Mastalfer as well, because if the activate card effect, you can banish the fairy to banish 1 card on the field. So definitely is really amazing for sure. And of course, if you had like Uranus in your hand as well, you will be able to summon Shavas Dragon as well, in addition to this field. So I'd show you just in case. Right, you had this as well. Instead, before doing this, but you will do this first, and then just before summoning KRISTYA, you will first summon this, then sync into and then of course doing the same stuff, banishing the Shrine Ball, summon KRISTYA, and then of course that will equip your Condemned Dark Lord to it. Then of course you will just have an extra negate as well. So that's definitely, I think, really amazing for sure. That's why of course use this card still. So that was it for my, of course, deck profile and sort of a tournament report as well. Again, like I said, I still really like this deck despite it failing completely at a tournament. Obviously I still have a lot to improve on, I guess, in terms of playing skill and deck building and stuff like that. But I hope you enjoyed this video. For now, goodbye and Omakios out.